Hey everybody, it's Miss Adine, and today I'm doing another line doodle drawing. So I'm just starting off with a gentle curve, and as I work I decided this is going to be a nose. And now I'm making some nice big eyes. For the drawing part, I'm keeping it in real time. I'm using a black Sharpie pen. I like the way they glide across my paper. And I'm making a face. Now when I look at this face, I'm thinking it's kind of round. It looks like a sun a little bit, and the eyes are too big. But I'm going to work with it. I've decided that no matter what I start with, I'm going to make it work. Now it looks like a little bald man. And I'm adding some, some big sort of angular hair, just chunking it up. Adding some on the sides. It looks less like an old man now. And with the neck, it looks less like a sun. So I'm a little bit happier with that. Add some nice big eyebrows. And now I'm going to just fix up some of these lines. Add a little bit more. And I'm thinking I have to pause to think about what I'm going to do next and where it looks like I need some more details. And now I've decided that I'm going to make my hair just pretty much stripy. And I have to work a little slow. I know some people can do this much faster than I do it. And I'm going to speed it up for the coloring part. But I think sometimes it's nice to see just how someone goes about drawing and adding their patterns in real time without being sped up, so that if you don't know how to do this, you can do it yourself. Now I'm using my left hand and I'm pushing away from myself. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that, whether it's to push or pull my pen across the paper. And I know it's something we normally don't think about, but I'm using my non-dominant hand for a while. So I feel like everything I do with it is like sort of overthought out. Here I'm adding some long vertical lines. A little bit diagonal, but they go across just to separate the different strands of hair. So maybe this could be a self-portrait of what I feel like on some mornings when I wake up. When your head feels too big and your hair's just going all over the place. When I started this, I really was going to I just started with a line, and there was something about the curve that made me go to nose and then to face. Uh, I find that it's fun to start with no ideas and to just see where it leads you. And then the minute you put a line down on the paper, it can start reminding you of something you've either seen or you've drawn, or it just looks like something. It's sort of like how you see faces in clouds. Start off with just some basic lines and see where it takes you. It might just take you to a really cool geometric or, organic shape patterns and lines and colors, or it might you could turn it into something like a face, a dog, birds, trees, whatever it turns into. So here you can see I'm just doing my lines, and I'm working really slowly on this. And I normally work pretty slowly while I'm doing lines. And after I get something set up, I might move to be a little bit quicker. But I'm trying to keep my lines straight, and I can't go that fast and keep them straight. They always get a little bit more wonky. And I like the wonky hair, but I want my lines to be sort of vertical here. I don't want them to be diagonal on the top. And I think that adding the lines to the hair has made my face look a little bit nicer than it was before. So here, where my lines overlapped, I just decided to use that line and then echo it and copy it in this shape so you don't see, so the one hair looks behind it, not over it, so it doesn't conflict. And that's where, like, you can tell, like, if you make a mistake, you can always use your mistakes and just incorporate them into your designs, and then it looks perfect. It doesn't look like a mistake anymore. So now I've got a big chunky bang hanging over my face, or the face. My eyes are not that big. These lines are really close together. And that's something you can do. You can make them closer or farther apart, and it changes the feel and look of everything. And I didn't make this as a conscious decision that I was going to have all different lines. It just sort of happened. And I think that's the fun of, you know, starting to draw without a solid idea. You can do that, and you can just see what happens, and you can come up with really amazing, surprising results. So here I've decided to add a little bit of balance by having some more sort of vertical wavy lines there, and I extended that chunk of hair to be wider, and now I'm doing some diagonal. This way the hair looks like it has a little bit of movement, or at least I'm going for movement. We'll see how that looks at the end. So, and adding one more there, and filling in this tiny little one in the middle. That looks like it's sort of behind, and then comes in front. So I find working on these is really calming and fun. There's something really zen about making lines and about relaxing enough to just let whatever you draw be what it is. So some things you're going to love and other things will be just fine, but there's something amazing about just the act of creating something. So my goal is to create something new every day. And I'm posting them Monday through Friday, and letting myself keep the ones on the weekend for myself. So I like the hair. Now I'm adding sort of like larger circles around the eye, sort of echoing the shape of the eye. And now dividing the face where the cheeks would be. And using the same sort of line. Sorry, my voice keeps cracking today for some reason. So here the lines start in one direction and then slowly move across the face in another. And I'm not making them wavy. I'm going to keep them pretty straight. A little bit arched maybe at the end. Up, you see I went a little fast, and when I go fast I don't do straight lines. So I'm trying to fix that, but I'm pretty much going to leave it because that's the way that works. When you're working with a pencil, you can erase things, but when you work with a pen, the minute you make that mark, it is set, and then you've got to work with what you have. And there's something really fun about that. So there, the lines on the other side are set. And I love spirals. There's something really fun about a spiral. Now, I'm not quite sure it's the perfect solution for the chin. I could have used, copied the line of the chin going up to the mouth, and that would have made more sense. But instead, I'm doing spirals. And the minute I sat down, I had that thought that maybe I should have done something different. But I'm not starting over or trying to erase anything, so I decided to go with it. And they're almost like little rosebuds or little flowers of spirals on her chin. I think I've decided it's a girl. Or, an alien, or who knows. And the spirals are totally different than any sort of marks I've made on the rest of it, so it's going to stand out on some level as different. Yeah. And here I'm going to leave the spirals off. And I'm marking that little shadowy place under your nose, and I'm just putting some lines in here. I think it's looking really pretty. So here I'm just making some lines in the nose, and they sort of start and end on each other, so you can see that it's like they're almost interwoven. I don't know what you'd call that. I'm going across, so they started out really curvy and then they wind up sort of flat. And when I started, I didn't know what that was going to look like, but the minute I did one or two, then I decided to just keep repeating it. And there's something about repeating a line or a pattern that makes it look way more intentional than if you keep switching things up. I can tell you that when I started this, I had no idea what it was going to look like. So here I'm doing a wavy curve for the forehead. I didn't want all the lines to be that straight. I'm not trying to echo them exactly. I know that each one of these little waves is different. And I think I'm really liking the way this is coming out. And as I work, I've decided that I'm not going to do anything in the background. I'm just going to leave it white. If I wanted to, I could, color it in a solid color, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to leave that part white. So there's my paws, deciding what's next. I'm adding eyebrows of thin vertical lines. Everybody needs a lot of hair in their eyebrows that's going straight up in the air. And now for the other side, I'm doing the same exact thing, just thin straight lines going up. Nice. Right now it looks like that's a mask. So here I'm going to add a little bit of details to the eyes by just echoing the line and sort of dividing the eye into like a pizza. And here, since I saw that, that's what I did, I can start drawing it a little bit differently and copying the other side. Trying to make them look identical. They're not going to be perfectly the same no matter what, because I'm doing this by hand and I'm not that steady, so they are a little different. Now I'm just dividing the space around the eyes just to divide it, and I'm going to keep with this shape. Now you can see here that although it's the same sort of mark making on both sides, it looks completely different. going with some curvy lines on top. And I'm almost ready. I have to do something around my nose, my lips, and my neck. So, when you see me just move my pen without touching the paper, it's when I'm thinking. Uh, and I do that, sometimes. And it's just, sort of planning in my mind, like which direction I want the lines and what's next. So here I'm using lines for my neck. And I really like it. I think that's, a very interesting wonky face with nice wonky hair. Needs a little bit more hair up top. So I did use a lot of bright colors to color this in, but initially I was thinking that it could be really fun either to leave uncolored or to do in black and white. But the color won out. I love color, so it normally does win out for me. Some nice green eyes. And here I'm going to speed it up in a minute just so it doesn't take forever. So you can see that now it's, now it's faster than real time. When before I was, that's the speed I draw. I'm using those, what are they? The Bic Intensive markers. I really like the colors in these and the tips. You get a nice fine line. Adding some pink around my eyes. I would wear contact lenses like that. If I could have green and yellow and pink eyes, I would totally wear them. I would find a way to make it work. It would be my everyday look. That would be amazing if you could, draw a design and have them make contact lenses for you without spending a fortune. Pink and purple and green all together. It'd be amazing. It would be so fun. A little freaky and you might scare people, but that could be part of the fun too. Some nice yellow underneath the eyes going around. A very happy wonky person here. I always like to use bright colors, and they just make me happy, and it doesn't matter whether it's in, like I could be drawing anything, and if I'm using bright colors and I'm making art, then I'm having a good day. So, I've been home for I don't know, it feels like forever. And making art is keeping me sane. I don't know what's keeping you sane at home. Maybe you're doing a lot of reading or writing or talking with friends. And I'm doing a lot of that too. But making art really does make me happy. I get to create something every day and look at it and feel productive. So, and here's Orange. Orange always likes to make an appearance. He doesn't want to be left out of anything. He says he's the most beautiful kitty there is. And he's being really well behaved. He's just going to sit with me. Because that's the kind of kitty he is. Yes, drawing and have a kitty keeps me sane. So here I'm using, you don't notice the difference in colors, but because the value is almost the same, neither one is too much brighter than the other or darker or more intense. They're both the same intensity, but one is pink and one is red. And next to each other, they sort of blend, but you can see the difference, and I like the way that looks. Against the yellow and orange, like that line really is a clear line that pops because there's no way, the orange or yellow blends in with those intense red and purple, or red and pink. And I like the way that looks. Now I have this like super bright mask on with those amazing like toxic eyes. I have to move orange a little bit. It makes me feel like I'm rude. I'm just kind of pushing him in a little bit out of the way. But he doesn't mind, He knows I'm trying to work, and he knows that, and I know he's trying to stop me. And that's the way that works. I work, and he tries to stop me. So now we're having a kitty cat break. He just wants a nice pet on his chin. He's just a sweet little baby. So here we're all going to look at his beautiful face while I take a cat break. Or, he needs some attention. Such a sweet little baby. There you go, Orange. Off to the side again, because now I'm going to do some more work, right? And he just accepts that. He's like, I want what I want when I want attention, and then I'm done, and we can go back to work, right? So it's sort of perfect. Okay. So here I am going to have to move him a little bit because I got to get that corner. And I'm trying not to be rude to my kitty. So I kind of nudge him a little bit, and we'll see if he gets the idea. He's going to be a little, he knows what I need, but he's like, I have feelings and I'm going to stay with you so we can make it work. And I really like the angle of these lines on the face, and I use the color a little bit to straighten up those wonky lines there, but you can still see it's not perfect. And that happens when you draw by hand, and it happens when you start without a clear idea, or without measuring and using a ruler. There's something really nice about a hand-drawn line, even if it's not completely perfect. Perfect can be really boring anyway. And here Orange is again leaning on my hand, making it a little bit hard to work, but it keeps him happy. Another quick cat break. There's so many of them in my day. So here, this is, you can see it, this is sped up. I do not color this quickly. And now I'm using green for my eyebrows, because what could go better than to have your eyes and your eyebrows the same color, because it's natural. You have brown eyes, you have brown hair on your on your eyebrows. So here we have green eyes and green eyebrows. Very natural. I think her eyes are fabulous. And Orange likes them too. So here in between, I'm using sort of like this ice blue color. So it stands out a little bit. But it's, very calm compared to the, orange and yellow underneath. She is looking really hot. Aw, and Orange is like leaning on my hand while I work. I know I should move him, and if if you're not a fan of cats, or if you never had one, I apologize. It's just that, he is such a sweet baby, and all he wants to do is be close. So it's really hard to tell somebody, your kitties that love you or your puppies that love you to like go away when they just want your attention. He's like putting up with my hand moving underneath his head. He's like, I don't care. I am on top of you, and that's it. So, now he's a little bit better. He's off to the side. He's probably going to get up in a minute and be bored and go get some crunchies. So here I'm using the same red from underneath. I want to keep some of the skin consistent on her face. And I think this is going to come out really nice. I mean, granted, if I saw this person in real life, I might be a little scared. But to draw her is fine. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I make my own creepy kids. Yep, so orange did go off, and now I can work a little bit easier. And I'm just about done with the red stripes. And, you know, I'm not quite sure at this point during my drawing what I'm going to do. If I'm going to use like yellow with the red to change it up a little bit. But I decided to stay with the same pink. I could have had it been like consistent enough with just one color from top to bottom. But I decided to use the same. Now, some of my lines will match up to look like it goes, you know, straight through, and others won't be exact. I wasn't thinking about that when I drew my pattern, so I can't expect the colors to work that way. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think as long as, you know, I'm pretty consistent with the colors, then it'll work. And I like the magic of speeding things up and slowing things down throughout a video. And when I work with really bright colors like this, I always think in my head, like, what would Van Gogh think? Like, if he had these colors, he would be so happy. You know, he was just happy they would make paint in a tube and he could go outside into the world and paint versus, you know, having big jars and weird things that you could only work from your home or a studio because it was just too cumbersome. You know, like portable art supplies was like an amazing feat. Now we have like markers and color pencils and a million kinds of paint, and you can go anywhere with them and do so many things. And they don't even have harmful chemicals. So here I'm deciding how I'm going to do that, and I missed a spot in my video, but I decided to add a third color because I didn't want them to look like one color going across. I wanted to really exaggerate the fact that they don't really meet in the middle the right way instead of minimalizing it. So using the two colors didn't work because they would overlap, so I added a third. I like her little nose. So here I'm going to take that same third color and go down just to add it somewhere else and to be a little bit more consistent. So I think she's looking really hot. Yeah, so these colors, I think these colors work really well together. They're so sort of bright and cheery. No matter what you drew with these colors, it's going to feel happy. You could be drawing the most horrible scene of recreating a war, and if you use these colors, it's going to look happy. In a really creepy way, but it's going to look happy. Or maybe not a war, but you know. The most obscene things drawn in bright colors still look great. So here when I get close to the center, I realize that I'm going to have to change it up just a little bit because those little lines don't really work for me. So I just went right over them with one color. And here, I know that looks black, but it's a really deep sort of burgundy color there. And that's hard to show up. And now I'm going to use some of that pink right on in between and over. I'm really kind of liking those lips. I wasn't even thinking about them before, but they look awesome. So here I'm just going over in the spirals. They look a little bit more like circles now on camera because you can't really see some of the black. I'm not worried about going in between. Like I said, I wasn't so crazy about the spirals as I started them. So now I'm just kind of filling in with different markers and different colors. And I know it's not consistent with the rest of the face, but I think it works anyway. I think she's looking very cool. So here I'm just adding some more directional lines. Just to go along with the shape of what a neck would look like. And these are different colors. One is the pink and one is the burgundy, the same colors as the lips. And I'm going to fill them in. So I'm using a lighter color over the darker colors, and the lighter color does not smear the darker colors with these markers, which is a really nice thing because you can color a big area in quickly without losing the details. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using a pink and a lavender and the blue, and you can see that the marks underneath are still there, but I don't have to worry about filling in each and every little rectangle. And I don't mind doing that, but if I don't have to, I don't. And you can still tell that I went over it. The colors aren't as even, but that's fine. So here for the hair, I'm using the same blue I used in the eyebrows. And I'm going to use some that's the same and some I'm going to make a little different. And sorry about my hand covering. It's really hard for me to keep my hand off the paper with my left hand. I'm still sort of trying to train it to do the right thing. So I think that it would be so fun to have like such bright hair. I mean, I've tried to make my hair blue. Right now it's purple, but it never stays that bright for that long. And my hair does not defy gravity. I know some people have this wild, curly, thick hair that goes in all different directions, but mine is just flat. It just grows straight. And I love the way it looks against that pink red face. So now I'm using a dark blue for some of the hair. I don't want all the hair to be the same color. You know, there's got to be highlights and lowlights in this person. She's got some funky high quality hair going on. Very cool. Whenever I draw people, I feel like I'm giving somebody a makeover because I get to decide everything about the way they look. I don't have to copy anything. I don't have to stay with what's realistic. I can make people look as fun as I want them to. So just filling it in and doing more and more and more. So it's almost like every other one, but not quite. I didn't want too much of that light blue to touch each other. I don't want it to look like one piece. I want it to look like a lot of different pieces. Because she doesn't have helmet, she's got hair. And now here's a middle blue for the horizontal lines. She's got some good shading going on. Her hair is looking awesome. So I'm close to finished, and I always get so excited when something's working well for me. It is a very cool thing. So, the light blue is going to be the same color combination as the eyebrows. So it's very matchy-matchy. green and blue. I like the way they look next to each other. They're both really bright colors. And I don't think I would want green hair. Something about green hair I don't think would be good on me. But she looks fabulous in it. So if you could draw yourself or make yourself over with hair with stripes or patterns, what colors would you use? Yeah, imagine putting on makeup every day with the yellow stripes underneath your eyes. That takes so much time. And people would look at you like you were absolutely nuts. Okay, so here I'm going back over. I'm almost done with this side. I like the way it goes from, you know, the blue and blue stripes to the green and blue stripes. I love the way that breaks that up. And it's kind of hard working in the sketchbook for that spiral. But, you know, I'm going to ignore that extra little line there. I try not to rush at the end, because at the end when I rush is when I make mistakes and I can like ruin an entire project or a day's work when I rush at the end. So here you can see that I like physically slowed down because it's slower than it was before, but I haven't changed the speed up. And I really kind of try for the last seconds or two to slow down. So I'm just about done. I have that one little piece. So here I'm just going in and cleaning up any areas. I've got that one part of her hair left. You know, the in between the darks, and I'm trying to figure out, you can see I test my colors on the side. And I'm deciding what's going to go next to that purple. And I'm not quite sure. So here I had to just fill in something I forgot on the side because there was too much white showing through. And now I've decided on a blue. So I've used this blue in other places, but I like, you know, it looks different when it's next to the really dark blue. And I'm really digging her. She's got some funky style. So, you know, the hair is this is the last few pieces. I know I said that before. I forgot I had that little area I was going to fill in. You know, my voiceovers are not always perfect. And she is just about done, and she is looking awesome to me. So I hope you really like this video. I hope it inspires you to grab a pen and a piece of paper and to do something really fun and creative today. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you make. And if you like the video, subscribe and hit the like button. Have a great creative day.